Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. Kohoyim La Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Bahashim. And Chachach double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan the Wach, just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this article is in Law and Crime. Bojangles manager fatally shoots employee's father, who came to daughter's aid after she got into it with her boss, the cops say, right? So now reading through the article, I didn't see anything about them fighting or him putting his hands on her or anything like that. But, you know, if you get to a situation where you feeling like shit is like that, hey, or you feeling threatened, you just got to call 911. And then the woman is the weaker vessel, and you know Eve be talking. We already be knowing, you know what I'm saying, Eve be talking. Because I don't think this is no Edomite shit. This is appears to be a Jake. Just the whole situation of it got Jake, you know, Jacob all over it, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, you are the Israelites, and we're under those curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. You know, that pure hatred, man, for each other. Okay, but it says a 25-year-old Bojangles manager in Georgia allegedly shot his employee's father to death in the parking lot of a restaurant during an argument. Because, I mean, come on, bro. You know, you got kids. You're going to come to their defense. But you still have to keep a level head. You know what I'm saying? So let me grab a quick scripture real fast. You can't just come in, you know, or, you know, just talk the shit. You know, because you got to know your kids, man. You know, Eve is clamorous, bro. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. And I'm already here, so let me just read this real quick. Proverbs 9 and 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. And that word clamorous, let's go into it real quick. Because there's nothing like a Eve just be talking shit, bro. And that's the generation of this new generation. Now, I'm willing, that word is H.I.M, 1993. To murmur, growl, see, roar, cry aloud, mourn, rage, you know, make noise, tumult, be clamorous, be disquieted, see, be troubled, be in uproar. See, that's a foolish woman, you know. And then at the same time too, let me what's that? I think it's Proverbs 21 and 6. Because generally, you know, when Eve is modest and humble, Jake don't be having no problems with Eve like that, man. Especially if they, you know, they got a sweet little spirit about them. Man, Jake will protect the shit out of a woman. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be arguing with them, stuff like that. So for her to have gotten to a point where she had to call her dad, something had. Come on, bro. I'm just putting it. You know, that's just me speaking as a man. You know, we you know, we use the wisdom that the Lord has given us. You know, and we know Eve. We see Eve on a day-to-day basis. We understand the attitudes that they have when you go into certain places. I try and use self-checkout at all costs these days, bro. Last thing I want to do is come across a so-called black woman in any store where I got to be passing her money and her giving me change back or whatever the case may be. You know, they just they too far gone, bro. Salakia. Proverbs 21 and 6, it says, oh no, not that one, Salakia. Am I reversing them? Salakia. Yeah, Salakia. Proverbs 22 and 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, or she should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. In the New Living Translation, it says, direct your children onto the right path. And when they are older, they will not leave it. So that comes with manners, man. You know, being taught how to treat people, being taught how to speak to people, you know, and mainly through the scriptures, because it's supposed to be through the scriptures, you know, loving your neighbor, you know what I'm saying, roughly paraphrasing, you know, just through the scriptures and also anger. Let me get that real quick. What is that? Yeah, Proverbs 16 and 32. Yeah, them Proverbs, man, that's a lot of wisdom, bro. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. Because he ain't no telling what she told him when she called him. She probably had him all riled up. He probably thinking this nigga up there putting his hands on her and she getting roughed up. This, he probably was speeding, trying to get there, not really knowing the full story. Because, Eve, man, she gonna rile the situation up, bro. I can remember, now it's way before I came into truth, way back, but I can remember, and I learned a real lesson way back then. I never forgot that. It was just, I will. It was just something that just made all the sense in the world to me. I had a sister. She was dealing with this dude, and they ended up getting into it. He put hands on her, and it was just like this big beef between the two families for a long time, right? We at school looking at each other, you know what I'm saying? We out, you know what I'm saying, about, ready to just, guns and all, just the whole thing, man. And come to find out that these motherfuckers were sneaking around in the dark, back together while everybody was beefing. And I told her, I said, you know what? Never, ever. You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna get involved in none of y'all shit like that no more? You know what I'm saying? You on your own with that one. That nigga get the whooping on your head, that's all on you now. Because I had to learn that. And then there was another situation too with this is all when I was younger. We was kids and stuff, but it was another relative of mine's. Our relatives used to always come. We got relatives out in Pennsylvania, Philly, and stuff like that. So they used to always come down south right around this time of the year too for the holidays. And she was, with this one guy, and we was all out. It was a Christmas party at a club, little teenage club, whatever. And she ended up, the nigga was putting his hands on her already. You know what I'm saying? But she was so in love with him, she wouldn't leave him. But one of the cousins ended up trying to stop it. You know what I'm saying? And got in the way of it, and he got gunned down, man. And the crazy part was, the dude, he was so reckless that he actually stepped on top of his chest while he was on the ground, breathing his last breath. He literally stood on the man. Stood on him. Took his last breath, man. Standing on him. And then who I learned from a lesson from that. You know whose side of the courtroom she was on? This nigga, man. Her family is on the other side of the courtroom. She's the only one that's like, she's behind the nigga that killed her cousin, man. So I said, hey, man. So, hey, a lesson learned. Anyway, let's go back to the article. I ain't mean to even go there, but maybe that's for somebody, man. You got to be careful when it comes to Eve, man. Let me see, Salakia. Be careful when it comes to Eve, man, because she ain't going to give you the full truth. She ain't going to tell you the whole story. She's just going to be trying to make it seem as if, and I'm not saying that for everybody, but that's generally how Eve get down. Okay, but it says, this guy, he stands accused of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime and the shooting death of this guy. According to the police, officers responded to a shooting around 1:15 p.m. Golly, midday, lunch rush. She's probably mad about lunch rush or something. When cops arrived, they found Goodman dead in the parking lot. Damn, boy. I bet she wished like a motherfucker she had never called his ass. I'm betting you she regretting. She probably gonna go out with that on her mind throughout the rest of her days here. You know what I'm saying? That, it's my fault that my dad is dead. Right? When cops arrived, they found Goodman dead in the parking lot. Goodman's friend told NBC affiliate that the victim's teenage daughter works at the restaurant. She called her father because she was having a problem with her boss. You having a problem with your boss? Well, just, go ahead and clock your ass out. Call the regional. Call the person that's above. What you calling your dad for? What your dad was supposed to come up there and situate the boss, and now you gonna finish your shift out? Nah, man, you a young adult. You know what I'm saying? You got to handle. You going into you in the real world. You working with real people. You know what I'm saying? Be a damn young adult and handle the shit the right way. Anyway, come on, bro. Yep, but I'm willing to bet you right about now. I bet you she wish she hadn't done that shit. I guess her and the manager might have got into it or something like that, so she called her dad, which any child would do. Nah, you ain't no damn child. You a teenager, you're a young adult. And that, you being a damn kid to you 21 in America, that's Esau's bullshit. That's a young adult. You old enough to go and get a job here in America because you got to be a certain age. I'm willing to bet you she's an age of, probably got children. Should be married. You know what I'm saying? An argument reportedly ensued between the two guys, the dad and the guy, right, in the parking lot. That's when Evans allegedly shot Goodman dead. Cops placed Evans under arrest and took him into the Fulton County Jail, where he remains in custody. Well, he got a decent lawyer. He probably can say, hey, I felt for my life. Now, whether the gun, it depends on the laws there. You know what I'm saying? The gun, generally, most establishments, you can't bring no damn gun to no work spot, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, who knows? Maybe the law says something differently down there. Okay, but it says these people need to put the guns down. And Evans should have gone home like the other manager told him, and none of this would have happened. Yeah, he should have listened to his manager. Yeah, you got higher authority. It just is what it is. And the Lord, he's in control of authority. Matter of fact, we can get that in Romans 13. Because if you got a boss, you got to, hey, shit, I mean, or, you got to listen to what the fuck they saying, man. Because the Lord, he's the one that sets them up. Romans 13. And I'm going to start from 1 here. It says, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh. Right? Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of Yahweh. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Right? Now it's going off into, a lot of with government, police officers, things of that nature like that. But still, that can go off into an employer or, somebody, the manager that's over you at a job or, just in general, you know what I'm saying? The higher up, so to speak. So had he listened to his higher up and just went to the crib, he wouldn't even have had that problem neither. So, hey, the scriptures goes a long ways, man. Just knowing these things, man, and prayer too. Scriptures talks about pray without ceasing. You want to pray without ceasing, man, to avoid situations like this. I don't even want to come across nobody with these types of attitudes, man. It says these people need to put the guns down, and he should have gone home like the other manager told him, and none of this would have happened. She would have a father, they would have their cousin and their brother, and it's at the holidays. Yeah, they going, yeah. That wasn't a situation. I'm not saying it where they like I said again, if he, of course, put hands on your daughter, but I don't see that in the story. I don't, and still. At that point, you still got to use wisdom, man. You got to use wisdom, bro. Got to use wisdom. Because this could easily be a case of, well, hey, self-defense. But it's going to depend on that gun, too. A Bojangles spokesperson sent the following statement. We are aware of the tragic incident that occurred at a franchise restaurant location in Palmetto, Georgia. Our hearts go out to the victim and all those impacted by this senseless act. The safety of our guests and team members is always our top priority. The franchisee is fully cooperating with the local law enforcement as they conduct their investigation. We strongly condemn all acts of violence out of respect for everyone involved and the integrity of the ongoing investigation. We will defer further details to the police. Yeah, all that good stuff. Anyway, and then you go into the comment boards. It's kind of, back and forth. You got some people that's, they with the daughter. You got some people that's in there, man, that's actually with this guy. Because, I mean, if a person being called and they pull up, you don't know what their intentions is, especially if you might have overheard the call and she's saying whatever, because like I said again, man, Eve will make up a story on your ass. I'm telling you, Pops was probably hitting the gas. He's probably speeding, probably fucking swerving in and out of lanes, getting around cars and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? To pull up, he probably pulled all up in the damn driveway in the parking lot, all erratic, hitting the damn brakes and shit. Probably scared the shit out of this dude. He got the thing on him. Ah, man, come on, bro. It could have been some old. Who knows, man. some romanticism going on. And this is why, you know what I'm saying, you know, the women got that ability to gad abroad and be out here amongst these men like this. We just need out of here, man. That shit is a problem, bro. It's just a problem. And especially with the new day and age of social media, it's just a problem, bro. But I'm willing to bet you. I am willing to bet you. She hate like a motherfucker. She called her dad to that place. Because she could have easily been like, well, hey, he not going to go home. I don't feel safe. I'm going to go home. You know, call the regional manager or whoever, you know, to whoever. Let them know the situation. You know, you just got to use some wisdom, bro. Because I'm trying to, like, how you not know this nigga? How you got to know a little bit about this. This nigga seem like he might have a gun? Like, you know, how do we kick it? How do he talk? He's constantly, you know, he pulling up in the parking lot, you know, playing some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Talking all kinds of shit all the time. Anyway, man. Bad situation. Let me see. They may have a picture of this guy here. I wanted to see maybe possibly let me see the father. They may have a picture of him or something like that. Because he could have been old pops, you know what I'm saying? Old pops not playing. But, you know, you think old pops could use some wisdom, man. You know, it's these young niggas that be jumping off and just be acting all damn effeminate, man. Gotta handle everything with a damn gun. Let me see. No talk skills. No. I think this is okay. That might be that's the video right there, possibly. And it's the crazy chick right here that fucking stabbed up. This is the lady from Detroit right here that stabbed up her McDonald's manager, jugged her ass up like 20 times, bro, at the job. These places is crazy, man. People stress, bro. Let's see what Eve got to say. Slovakia. I'm trying to think what I gotta do here. Is it playing?
It's terrible. I mean, because here come Christmas, they wait, you know, he probably got everything ready for him. And now you got to spend the holidays without your dad and their cousin and brothers. It's sad. It's sad. Just telling everybody, put down these guns, start thinking, use common sense. Common sense is left. Use common sense. Think before you do something stupid that's going to end your life.
Well, let me grip one more. Because that's also spirits of vengeance, man. That's like I'm going to go into the Apocrypha real quick. Spirit of vengeance. And man's going up the Lord, man. You know, the Lord is expert at killing 3, 4, 5, 6 birds with one stone, bro. Nothing to it. Ecclesiasticus 39:28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So the Lord created spirits of vengeance, right, to appease his wrath for knuckleheads. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. Hey, them spirits are not going to be like, well, Lord, he's just trying to get some Christmas gifts. And that's another thing, too, you know, Jake, with these damn holidays. He was probably making all kinds of plans, probably had all kinds of plans together. You know, that's why the scripture talks about, if it's the Lord's will, I'm going to do such and such, such and such. You know, people be making all kinds of plans, you know, as if they know what's going to happen in the next 10 seconds or 15 seconds or the next 15 days. They don't know. But they get to talking as if they're God. I know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have this. Nah, man, the Lord cut your ass down. You don't even make it to nowhere near the day or time that you even talking about. There's a bunch of people that had plans for this bullshit ass, idolatrous ass holiday and didn't make it today. Whole bunch of people got knocked off today. Hey, the Lord's numbers is up, boy. You get to looking at some of this stuff, man. You can't keep up with all the spirits the Lord is pulling back into the spirit world, man. Can't keep up with it. But I'm gonna end out there, man. Yeah, you just gotta use wisdom, man. Gotta use wisdom, man. It just is what it is, bro. So I'm gonna end out there with that. Kwame All in a Bubble Ball.